And the vision for the moment is to hopefully being able to do this video and look at you, look at the screen and show myself Anna here answering the question about what are the top most accessible apps in Anna's everyday life. And I just did my video in Spanish because a lot of the people in Central South America, Mexico, and in Spain, and even here from the United States have been sending messages in the last months asking, Anna, what are the most accessible apps for the blind? Wow, a quick response is there are many, right? There are many, and I use some, but not a lot, right? Like many other blind people. And I'll share with you which ones I use, which ones make a difference in my life, and why I do not use many applications as many other blind people. There are many that are gonna save your life if you are totally blind, if you went blind, if you are low vision, and especially if you are someone that is just new in the blind. You just are going through the vision loss, right? So it is critical for me to even share with you some other information, not only about the applications that make a huge difference, right? So, okay, so how come I don't use many accessible apps for the blind? Because of my lifestyle, right? I know that one of the huge characteristics among many blind people is the use of accessible apps, or the time, I should say, they spend behind a mobile, an iPhone, an Android, a computer, downloading applications and listening to everything that has to do with accessible apps, right? With accessibility, especially apps, right? And they don't even use them. Why? Because they don't need them. Right? So my response to you about the apps that I use, the most used apps in my life, is those that have to use daily and that they make a huge difference based on what I do, how I live. And this should also, we shouldn't shoot people, but this should be also applied to anyone, right? So the applications that are accessible for me and that help me might not necessarily help you in your everyday life, because we're different people, right? Maybe you are a kid, a teenager, a young adult, maybe you're moving away from the parents, or you will live by yourself the way I do, and you will not have those functional physical eyes, because from my point of view, accessible apps are great, amazing, and they're becoming better and better with ChatGPT and AI technology, but there are only those eyes that can decipher the visual world, and those are human eyes, functional human eyes, along with a functional brain, because not everyone sees the same colors or sees the same things the way we do. Fact, it's a fact, right? So sometimes we can't even rely on those eyes, but for the most part, yes, when those accessible apps don't work, right? So you might be a teacher, you might be an older, young adult, older adult who's going blind, different ages, right? Different occupation. You might work as a teacher, you might work, I don't know, selling candies over there on the street in Mexico City. You might be, I don't know, just at home. Maybe you're a housewife and you need applications for the kitchen, right? Which I have comments about that, right? So the applications that are gonna help one person not necessarily might help everybody else. However, when we are talking about the blindness, accessible apps make a huge difference in our life. That's how we, the blind and visually impaired, people with low vision, we've been able to, those applications have opened up a whole range of opportunities, right? And they've been able to help us because of the main thing. An iPhone, the accessibility with an iPhone, the screen reader from Apple, VoiceOver on computers, the JAWS program, NVDA, and other screen readers. For me, JAWS and VoiceOver are my top ones, right? iPhone with TalkBack for those who use an Android, the same accessibility, right? Now a lot of these applications are usually available for both operating systems, not all the time, but for the most part they end up doing it, right? If we message them, or those who create those applications. But those applications function for many of us because we do have a smartphone, right? That has a screen reader. Otherwise we would not be able to access those applications. So based on the accessibility on the smartphones, now we're able to access those applications, right? So if you are a student, you're probably going to need a lot of applications that are going to help you how to read, textbooks and all of that, even though now you have that help at the universities or schools, right? Accessible text format that they do for your accommodations. But what if you want to be independent, right? For me, for Anna, the number one application that I use, I was saying in my Spanish video that I use more gadgets than accessible apps, because that's what fits my personal life, right? And I have always done that since I went blind and I was low vision, and I just went to what I have now, light perception, which is not any sight, right? I always never wasted so much time trying to become so great at an accessible technology or the Chrome. I have always used what I need in the moment and not use it, right? And I learned. Was always pretty good at learning, whatever. And if something takes me a while, now I have a lot of people that is great and I can contact and ask, right? And we have Apple accessibility in my case. I don't know what the Android Google people have, but we have Apple accessibility, and sometimes they don't know, but I have the Braille Institute here in Anaheim, and I can always call Salvador and ask Salvador is such a pro in this whole voiceover and iPhone, so he saves my life. I know many of you guys don't have someone as good as Salvador, or an institute or a school for the blind, so yeah, I know it's not always the case. But application number one for me is Be My Eyes, right? I know many of you guys have IRA and you have your glasses, and it's great. I don't. I used it for more than a year. Years ago, didn't work for me. Didn't want to spend the money. Didn't see the need for me. So Be My Eyes. They have more than 6 million volunteers. Lately, they've been getting and not responding a lot, especially Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And I WhatsApp, but I call them when I really need the help and I need functional eyes. And along with the Be My Eyes when I need eyes, I use FaceTime, right? I can call some family member if they're available. They're not always available. Be My Eyes people are more available. So for me, Be My Eyes is one of the top ones, right? When I need to identify things at home that other applications didn't, and I was not able to scan something with other applications that I use, and I'll share with you. But the Be My Eyes is one of my options, even when I go to the store, when I'm on the street and I want to see across the street and I want to see my surroundings, because you have to always be curious about seeing what's around you, even if you went blind, even if you were born blind. Never stop being curious and use your imagination. And if there is a pair of eyes who can tell you, across the street there is this and this, know your surroundings. Who do they see around? For safety reasons, I use it, and that works for me. Sometimes when I go to the restaurants and they sit me in the back and there is no waitress or waiter coming by, I just use By My Eyes and I start just following directions how to find the door. I do, even with my cane. Sometimes it's embarrassing because they can see everything, but that works for me. And it's free, right? I'll go ahead and share in the description all the applications that I'm sharing with you, and that, okay, again, the other application that I use a lot is again the Be My Eyes. What do I use from Be My Eyes? Again, well, the feature on the AI description, right? It's so for me that I love photos, videos, and I use Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube a lot, and I share my simple content. Taking photos and capturing videos is great, right? So the Be My Eyes has the feature. It's been a while that they have the feature where you can just open up Be My Eyes, and instead of calling, you can actually select the Be My AI feature. You just selected it on the application on one of the tabs, and it says capture photo, and if you capture, it'll give you a great description of what's around you. It's great. I love it. Even at the restaurant, sometimes I can just kind of capture around and see who's sitting next, around, and it's my way to see around me, and what's around me. Sometimes I do it even from over, or when I'm riding the transportation, and it's so cool because it tells me a building and puddles of water, and there is a handicap parking on the side, a Shell gas station, and whatever. I want to see what's around, right? Again, what is the other application that I also use a lot for photo description? Be My Eyes. The Be My Eyes AI gives me great description to use on my photos, description on my photos for the blind and anyone that uses a screen reader. Again, on the next applications that are my most top use applications every day: Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. I use that a lot because, again, I always love photos. I like the description, and Instagram and Facebook and YouTube are, for the most part, pretty accessible. We're able to use it. Years ago, when I started using Instagram, a lot of the Spanish-speaking people did not use Instagram. They always criticized me and this and that. And now many of them are there because I did videos on sharing how do you upload and how do you describe the photo and this and that. And from Instagram, I use it a lot because from there I can just share my posting and it goes on Facebook, and I can do reels, right? So one of the other applications I use a lot is my camera, right? Why? Because of the accessibility from my iPhone. I'm able to do that, right? So I use my camera all the time when I'm out, right? When I'm out, when I'm in the house, to do this and to do that. So it's actually something that accommodates, for me. If I would have had all these applications for reading and capturing things, reading articles and pamphlets and whatever, handouts from class, that would have been very helpful. But I did get my accommodations from the disabled student services, but these applications would have been helpful. Now, what is the next application besides Be My Eyes AI, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube? Well, I use Sullivan Plus, the Sullivan Plus app, and CNAI. For those things, when I have to read some letters, mail, some reading, the short text is pretty helpful, capturing the reading. I use that, although I have my Windows computer and I have a Kurzweil and I have Open Book. Those applications will use scan, but nowadays everything is online. Honestly, everything is online. I can do a lot, but for personal stuff, the fact is that we're not able to fill out a form, like those things that we get by mail from insurance or things like that. So that's when we need eyes. Although I also scan my applications to read it, and sometimes I just get annoyed with having to put the phone on top and scan it, right? So I use my Kurzweil on my phone, on my computer, but I still use it. I use the Sullivan Plus. I love it. I think it's pretty. Sometimes it's better than CNAI because you can, read the barcode of a product in the kitchen. You can recognize people. You can take a capture of the scene. But with the Be My Eyes and AI and the artificial intelligence, everything is becoming better. I do not own any Orcam glasses or Ambition or that. Those are way too expensive. And then you just have to buy new ones for what? The updates and all of that? I don't know. And then you have to just be walking there with the glasses and listening, and it's like pretty much for me, for my life, I depend on a lot of gadgets, my phone, my screen reader, my chest mount where I mount my phone, my AirPods, my bandolier where I just carry my phone. And I use also applications, like the Google Maps, I use Siri a lot, right? To check where I am. And one of the applications that is back, resurrected, that I used a lot for years, are GPS. GPSs are critical for us blind out there, if you are someone that adventures out there. I was using the Soundscape for years, and then they made it open source in July. And now that they have resurrected, with the resurrection of Vista, which I'm pretty sure is the Soundscape. I love it because it gives you, you can set up a beacon to find a location, and it's pretty accurate. My friend Trevor and I used it over there in England when I visited in April, and that is great. We have used it in downtown Disney, and it's great. All the description when it tells you what's around you, what's ahead of you. You can set up the beacon and arrive to the location, and you can set up markers. I love the compass. You can just aim the phone and tells you north, east, south, or west, whatever. I love that. And what's the address here. I love that application for the GPS. Be My Eyes is also another great app. I mentioned it for me to ask for things out there when shopping, when I go into the store, and I know there are so many applications that can help you function, but if you are going blind, these applications are critical. But before that, you need the support from someone that actually information, right? When we go blind and we don't know anything about the blind, your family, your husband, wife, whoever are critical with in your life at the beginning, because they're the support that are gonna maybe help you search online and find videos like this one, or those who you find helpful for you and that will accommodate your lifestyle. Maybe you will not be taking videos right away, but maybe in the future. But there is so many blind people that is on YouTube and on social media, and they will, they share accessible about accessible technology, support groups on groups on Facebook where they always share about accessibility. WhatsApp, which by the way, WhatsApp is one of my most popular apps that I use all the time. I belong to all these WhatsApp groups with people from Central South America, Mexico, and they share a lot about accessible technology and applications and they send me names of applications that I should do videos on that. And sometimes I have done it and I do it, but it's not an application that I will be using a lot. I'm more into the gadgets that help me function. Of course, a lot of all these gadgets now, come with an application, so I have to use those applications, right? But the WhatsApp is something where I create my own groups and I categorize my photos and I talk to friends, chats, and WhatsApp groups. And it's easy for me to actually select my photos and I delete them. And then from there I pull out my photos, to even my clips for some videos. And I use that a lot. But what I use the most is things related to social media. I also use the CNAI and Be My Eyes, for things here at home to describe things. But now with the Be My Eyes, when I'm not able to identify, those, I don't know, my Colorino had broke not long ago, so I had to get another one. And my Colorino is a gadget that identifies, clothes, colors, and that's the most accurate that I found compared with many applications. Now I take a photo with the Be My Eyes feature, and then it'll tell me the color of my pants or whatever, or what's, even the color of a nail polish and things like that. But for the most part, those are the applications that I use. Of course, there are applications that I use like on the phone that I hear and that I use. The voice memos is something that I use a lot to record, and then you have to go and delete, because I recently deleted I don't know how many hours of recording that I had for years, and it was taking a lot of the space. And of course my texting a lot, and I'm trying to remember, no, I don't saturate my life with applications, because then I would just be sitting here learning applications that I'm not gonna need. I use what I need with the moment, and if there is an application that comes out and it really helps me, like Be My Eyes, you don't want, if you're losing your sight and then you start learning and take your time to learn, get trained on all this accessible technology, you will figure out what is going to help you in your life for the lifestyle you have, or what you want to do, or you're going to be able to do. If you challenge yourself, you'll probably most likely will go back to do a lot with what you used to do, or you will figure out that with all this accessible technology you can actually come up with a business or things that you want to do. And yeah, but for the most part, because I like to go out there, capture videos and photos, and going out by myself or to the store, and doing my shopping, I use applications where I can get guidance to customer service, to the restaurant, to the store, to whatever, GPS, Google Maps, I don't know, Apple Maps, and things like that. Or just quickly ask for assistance. I'm not going to go to the store and use an application to I don't know. I value all those applications that they create, but they keep coming up with applications, the same ones. Reading, scanning. No, I know if you live in a country where there is no American with disabilities, or your form of American with disabilities, you might have to scan your own books when going to the university, college, or studying. Or if you're a child, right? But here in the United States, by law, they have to provide your books on alt text format, braille, audio, whatever accommodates. So the applications to scan and use your ORCAM could be for those situations, right? Where you can actually, when you have to do it yourself, or now maybe schools are incorporating the ORCAMs in locations. Rehab programs are providing that to people that qualifies. And yeah, it just depends who you are. But if you are going blind and you're experiencing vision loss, learning, having a smartphone is critical. You will find a lot of videos. I will go ahead and add some videos that I have here, sharing with you on the voiceover program. Apple has a great accessibility. Talkback with the Android. If you need a phone that is a little bit, they have a whole gamma of different Android phones that are from the least expensive to the most expensive, as even more expensive than Apple, maybe, I don't know. And you can actually train yourself, and through the use of a screen reader, you'll have access to all these accessible applications. One great location to actually search for is Applebee's, the website. They actually announce all the applications that are more, blind people are using and find more accessible. From the most popular ones, the most used, and they have discussion. Applebee's, Apple. I was gonna say the way I said it in Spanish, Applebee's, Apple, APPLEV as in Victor IS, Applebee's.com, I believe. And they do have, you find a lot of information from other users and what they comment, and you can see the ratings on the applications, what was the top number one during the year. But I would suggest that if the use of these applications are helping you for your everyday life to always move beyond limitations, and are helping you in your career, in your education, and on your mission and vision in life, for your life goal, go ahead and use as many as you need. You have to. But if this is just to kill time at home, because you see all the other blind people, being so great at using accessible technology, and they know like 200 applications, but they don't even use them, you probably are wasting your time. Use whatever is helping you to help you for whatever. Now, if you're using that to educate yourself, and because you're gonna create business teaching, or accessible technology for the blind, or you're gonna work for a center or a company that does rehab, where they go and teach the blind, and you want a job within that, become the pro. And but if it's just to kill time and chat with people across the world, and you're doing that for years and years and years, then believe me that you will regret it later on. You will. You're just using all these accessible technology stuff just to kill time and to pass by, the day. Anyway, that's the vision for today. And here, hopefully, I was, I never know. I always look up and then look down and then look, look a little weird, but this is Anna, and if you speak Spanish, I have this video in Spanish. And yeah, Anna is coming back on YouTube, and tell everyone about Blind with a Vision. They might like what I share here. It's more the blindness in action out there than sitting behind an iPhone and a computer downloading applications to see what is new. I do it, but I do it quickly, and when I really need help, I call those who actually know, and then I learn it. Sass, right? All right. I'll see you in the next vision, and I'll see you in the next vision. Bye for now.